Carol Krentzman, and I'm here in my home studio in Natick. And today we're going to work on learning how to do a paper mosaic. And since we're all at home and sheltering in place and trying to find things to do, this is a good activity to do. And we're going to take our time. And it's a project that could take you a couple of days to complete. There's no rush. And you can see over here, this Zoom meeting today is inspired by Spark Kindness, and that's why I sent out a template so you could print out Spark Kindness. However, Ben is going to hold up what he drew because he wants to mosaic some mountains. So he's going to do a paper mosaic of mountains. So you can do whatever you want. That's fine. And this one right here, you can see I already did, and I'm going to start working on this while we're watching. And I wonder if you got the message to make some strips of paper. Let's see if you can see these strips here. These are strips of paper, and they're about a ½ inch to ¼ inch wide. You can use any kind of paper you want, solid colors or printed paper. We found some nice printed paper that I had around the house from a package of scrapbooking paper that I purchased one time. And you can use construction paper, you can use whatever you want. And then you get a glue stick, and after you cut your pieces up, right here I cut some pieces up ahead of time, and I'm going to glue them down. So I'm working on the D of Spark Kindness. Ben is working on his sky of his mountain. So when you put your glue on your paper, just put a small amount, like just one side of the D, and then start to put your paper, your cut up paper, onto that side. So you're only working on a little section at a time, so you can keep track of what you're doing. And I'm using a printed paper now next to solid paper for contrast on my design. And it doesn't matter, the pieces can be next to each other, they can overlap. It doesn't matter how you do it. Any way you do it will be fine. There's no exact way to do it. And so I just did the side of my D. Now I'm going to put some glue on the side, and I'm going to start the side of my D, and I'm using these little pieces that I already cut up. And if you were to put the pieces on with a little tiny bit of space in between, then the space that you put between will appear like grout, which is what goes in between actual tiles when you're doing a regular mosaic with tile or glass. You actually leave a little space for grout. So if you want to leave a little space, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine also. And it's also fine if your pieces overlap a little. That's fine too. So now I got most of my D done, but there's a little tiny spot at the bottom that I want to fill in. So I'm going to cut just a little bit smaller piece to fit in down here to finish my D. So now on the word kindness, I have K-I-N-D. And you can see as I fill it in, you can start to see it a little better. So I'm a mosaic artist. I live in Natick. I have done public art mosaics in town, some of which are on Court Street. And maybe you've seen them when you walked around Natick Center. And this is a picture of some of the ones in Natick Center. And they're on Court Street. And then there's another one called Smiling Faces, which is also on Court Street. That's 12 feet high. And I did that with my friend, Amy Steinmetz. And we put that up last May. And now I'm working on another one called We the People. And that one is going to, working on it in my studio, and usually I'm working with a big group of people, but right now I'm mostly working by myself because of social distancing. So I'm working on it here, and hopefully we'll still get it done and up before the end of the summer. And I made a little sample board of it, so you could see the colors of the tile, and the outside of it, I think you saw, was kind of like a rainbow, and then the inside is all different skin tones, the arch that goes around the design. So let's keep working. I'm gonna do my next one with, let's see, what color should I use? I'm thinking about green. I haven't used any green yet. So if you're doing words like on the Spark Kindness, it's good to alternate between each one of your letters and use a different color. So I'm cutting strips, and then I'm going to cut those strips into little squares or little rectangles so that I have them ready for what I want to do, and get them all cut up ahead of time. And let's see how Ben is doing while I've been working. So Ben, already he made a strip of blue going all the way down for his sky behind his mountains. And now he's working on his next strip. And I'm going to put some glue on one side of my N, just one side, so that I don't have so much glue that the glue dries before I get to press my pieces down. So here goes my pieces, and you can see in my N, I think you can see it gets kind of small and narrow over here in this part. So I have to put some smaller pieces in there, and it's kind of narrow up there. I'm just kind of using my fingertip to pick it up. And now you can see I've done half of my N. Can you see that? I did this part of my N right here. And now I'm going to start working on the other part. And by the way, your fingertips are going to get a little sticky, but that's okay too. You'll be able to wash them off. And when you're done, I'm just cutting up some more green pieces now for the other side of my N. So I'm going to put glue on the other side of my N, and then I'm going to start filling it in with my pieces. And mosaics are a type of art that goes slowly, one piece at a time, and because of that, it's very relaxing. And as you take your time and place each piece, you find that your whole body is starting to relax because you think about it, and you take your time. It's almost like a meditation. And now I'm going to show you, Ben just put another row of blue in his sky. See that? He did a light blue row and a dark blue row. And he's going to show you a mosaic that he's working on, a glass and tile mosaic that Ben is working on. It's a turtle. See that? Yeah. So Ben is lucky because he lives with me. And so he gets to do mosaics in my studio all the time. And what do you love about mosaics, Ben?
I love them because it's really relaxing, and you just get to sort of let your imagination flow because there's no guidelines around mosaics. You can just make them any color you want and any shape and everything.
Thank you, Ben. And for those of you who are stuck at home, all of us who are doing our best to make the best of this difficult situation. When the sun comes out again, and you want to take a walk, if you can, take a walk in Natick Center, you can see lots of public art outside. I'm a member of the Public Art Committee, and we try our best to keep adding public art to Natick Center. So we have my mosaics on Court Street, and then on Adams Street we have a couple of big painted butterflies and a fish walker. And then on the Common we have painted electrical boxes, and we're just always trying to think of new ways to add more public art around town. And when our buildings open up again, if you want to see some other public art that I've done, the stained glass windows in the children's room I made some years ago, and the stained glass window over the front door in the library, and there's stained glass in the senior center on the second floor, at TCAN in the lobby, at Temple Israel. So there's a lot of public art for you all to explore and look at and enjoy. And Spark Kindness is also sponsoring another project called Love 01760. That's our zip code here in Natick. And their goal is for people to make a big heart, cut it in half, and then give somebody one half to work on and somebody else the other half to work on. And then they're going to collect them all at 3 atoms. You can just, if you make them, just slip them right into the mail slot at 3 atoms, and they're going to collect them. And when we're able, put them all together into one big giant community project. So now I'm going to start on my, how's it going there, Ben? Good. Ben's got 3 rows in his background now. And Ben has done enough mosaics, excuse me, that he knows that it takes a long time. So you just have to be patient. And I'm going to pick another paper to do my next letter with. I'm going to do my E with this printed paper right here. And let's see if I have another piece of it. Okay, I'm going to cut up my little squares again. Whoa, that one went flying. Okay, and here we go. We're going to get squares. Then we're going to put down our glue and start to glue the pieces on. One little section at a time. I'm trying not to do too much at any given time because I want to have time to get my pieces on there before the glue dries, because glue sticks dry pretty fast. So I'm going to get my E one on there. I really like the printed papers. I've never used them before for something like this, but I like the way they come out and how they fill in the area. Now I have to cut some more squares. Ben, how is yours going? You want to show them how yours is coming now? Okay, so this is how Ben's is coming out. See, he's filling in his sky with blues. And also, because Ben's design has an angle like this, some of his pieces on the bottom, he's actually cutting into triangles. He's got all squares going down, but then at the bottom, he's got triangles to fit around his mountains. So that's very good noticing, Ben, that you needed another shape. And that's what happens. Sometimes you got to trim the shape that you thought you were going to do. And does anybody have any questions? We have a chat room where you can write in a question if you want to write in a question.
Oh, yeah, we do have a couple of questions. One of them is, how did you get interested in mosaics?
Wow, that's a story. I got interested in mosaics because I went on a trip to Europe to visit my daughter, whose voice is off screen right now, Nellie. And while I was in Europe, with my whole family, we went and we saw a lot of, in so many buildings, and we saw stained glass and we saw mosaics everywhere. And when we came home from that trip, I said, oh my goodness, I have to learn how to make stained glass and mosaics. There we go. We've got my E and my N. See that? I'm filling in. And so right away, I started to learn about mosaics. And then that was in January of the year 2000. And then in the year September of 2001, I was able to start taking stained glass classes. So I first learned how to do stained glass, and then I was taking some classes in Western Mass at Snow Farm and all different places on mosaics. So then I started learning mosaics too. So I was really doing both things at the same time. And I had this amazing opportunity at the library to do the windows in the transoms in the children's room. And our director at that time, Paula Polk, had just gotten some grant from a nursery school that closed, and they wanted more artwork in the children's room, but they didn't want anything on top of the bookcases or on the walls. So it just worked out great that we could put art up into the transom windows. And a little shout out to Jay Ball, who added lighting to those windows so that they would look nice and bright for you when you go into the children's room. And there's actually 17 of them. And it took me about 5 years to make them because in the middle, Paula Polk passed away, and then the trustees at the library asked me to make some windows in her memory. And so those are the ones that are over the front doors that are in Paula's memory. And so I did those while I was doing the ones in the children's room. And finally, those got done. And then the mosaics in the archways on Court Street, I kept walking by that building and saying, my goodness, there's this beautiful archways. I have to put something in there. And Artie Fair, the owner of the building, said, okay, go ahead. And so that's how we ended up making all those 6 panels that have children in them. And I don't know if any of you participated, but I asked children to draw pictures for me, and I worked with the some of the students in the art class at high school, and they helped me make some of the ceramic pieces that are in those panels, and a lot of other artists helped me also. And then my friend Scott did all the installation for me, and he's still doing the installation for me on these larger mosaics also. So we are, whoa, look at Ben's sky now. See how it's getting filled in? Slowly but surely. Yeah. Okay, and here's my kindness. And I have one more letter to do. I have to do my S. And I think I'm going to need a print to do that because all my other ones, it's every other one is a print. So I think I'm going to use this one because this is a good contrast to the other ones that I've done already. And it's nice to have each letter, if you're working on the letters, it's nice to have each letter be a contrast to the others. And what else? Any questions? Do we have any questions out there?
Let's see. Yeah, what do you suggest? How do you suggest if a kid wants to get started, or even anybody get started with their first mosaic? Do you have certain suggestions on how they would get started? What kind of project would be good for their first time?
Sure. I mean, you can buy a piece of wood, or you can actually go online and buy pressboard shapes if you think that your child would like to do a certain shape. And then you can also buy tiles. I buy a lot of my small glass tiles from Mosaic Trader USA. And the tiles I'm using for my current big project are from Mosaic Trader, and they're made of glass, and they're actually made of recycled glass, and they're made in Turkey. And then they get shipped to Amsterdam. And then from Amsterdam, they get shipped to Arizona. And then from Arizona, they get shipped to me. So they're international tiles. And they come in great colors and shapes, and you can find a lot of fun things to work with. And then all you need is a bottle of Weld Bond, which is a white glue, which you can also get from them. And you're on your way. You can do a mosaic where you cut tiles or where you don't cut tiles. And here's a little mosaic that Ben did. Nellie, can you hold this up a little closer? Sure. These are using those same tiles I was talking about, and he glued those tiles onto a tile. And what that says is, "I love sushi." And those are all little 1/4-inch tiles glued together. And then after they were all glued and dried, we grouted it. And that's what we're doing here by leaving a little space in our paper mosaic. We are actually making little spaces that look like grout lines. So that's how we're accomplishing the look of a mosaic, but with paper. And it's very satisfying to fill stuff in. And you can see now my whole word is filled in. Kindness is filled in. So I still have to do spark, and I have to do the heart. And I don't know, what color should I do the heart? Maybe I could do it red, or yeah, how does the red look? That looks good, right? So I'm going to cut up some squares for the heart, and then I'll fill the heart in. And let me see, I was thinking I might have I have a container of papers over here. Let's see, yeah, I have a little pink. Maybe I'll mix some pink in with the red, and then my heart will be multicolor, which is kind of fun too. And also you can see on this one that I filled in all the words, but not the background. However, in a real mosaic, you do fill in the background also. So if you get done with your word or your shape, like what Ben is working on, and you want to keep going, just fill in the background. And try to fill in, when you do the background, try to fill it with a color that you did not use in your words, so that you get a good contrast, and you'll still be able to see your words. And when you're done, if you've done the Spark Kindness mosaic, put it someplace in your house where everybody can see it, because one of the things we all need to remember in this period is to stay kind to each other, to help each other as much as we can, and to have as much patience as we can, because it's difficult for everybody. It doesn't matter what age you are. This is a difficult time for everybody. And my little 2-year-old grandson, who I can't even go see, and his birthday is on Saturday, and I can't even go see him for his birthday, he wants to know, he's always asking me, why can't we come over? Why can't we come over? So hopefully you guys are a little bit older and you can understand why we can't go over. But believe me, no matter what age you are right now, it's difficult, right, Ben? Yeah. And we're all missing our friends, and we're missing going out. And one way to feel connected is to do an art project together in your family, and to show it to your friends and encourage them to do art, because art is soothing and it helps everybody feel better. All right, let's check out Ben and see how far he's gotten again.
Okay, so we have a question. Carrie says, thank you, this is great. We are thinking of using old cut up pieces of magazines and pasting onto wax paper for our first project. If possible, maybe you can post a link to the device that was just mentioned for ordering the beginning tiles.
Okay, I can do that. I'll get help to do that. And I'll say it again, it's Mosaic Trader, TraderUSA.com. So, but I'm happy to post it. I'll just have to get a little technical assistance to do that. Let's see how Ben is doing. See, he's filled in more behind his first mountain. See how that sky is filling in? Yeah, and he got some pieces down in the point there. So the idea is just find something you're enjoying doing, some way to do. For me, it's mosaics that are very calming and comforting, and find a way to do it and enjoy it and be patient, because it does take a while and there's no rush. Nobody's going anywhere. So don't worry about it.
So another question is, when you work with kids, what do you find is their sort of the way that what they love most about the mosaics, or how they are creative with the mosaics?
Well, I teach mosaics to adults, and I also teach at the charter school in Framingham. And what the kids love is that they can focus and concentrate and slowly do their mosaic and still chat with each other and talk with each other and get their mosaic done. So one thing about mosaics is that you can enjoy making a mosaic while you're enjoying something else. Like you might want to listen to music while you're making your mosaic, or you wouldn't want to watch something though. Don't try to watch anything, because you need to focus your eyes on your projects. But you certainly could listen to music. You could be chatting with a friend. It's something you could do with a friend while your friend is making a mosaic. You can do it too. And you can enjoy creating together. So there we go. Now my heart is filled in. And my heart is full because I got to do this project with all of you. So that's really fun. I still have to do the rest of my letters here, which I can see are kind of skinny and a little hard to do. So I'm going to have to cut my pieces very small. And we only have 2 more minutes. So does anybody else have a question?
Oh, one last question. Where are you gonna put this in your house?
Oh, I'm gonna put my Spark Kindness in our kitchen, because with everybody being home all the time, we are in the kitchen constantly, 3 meals a day for everybody. There's 4 of us, my husband, my daughter, my grandson, and me, and we're in the kitchen all the time. So that's a really good spot. We don't have the most huge kitchen, so we kind of are tripping over each other. So it's the spot where we need to remember most to be kind to each other. So that's where our kindness mosaic is going to go. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you have fun with mosaics.